I greet you all in the name and the wonderful name, in the name above all names, the name Yahweh and Yahweh's salvation. I thank you all, brethren, for this time that you have come onto this platform. My name is Pastor Washington of Kingdom Principle Ministries of Yahweh Worldwide, and I am situated in South Africa, Johannesburg. And I thank you all, for we know Yahweh is with us. I thank you all for getting this time to come before Yahweh. But today, we are going to share a very special message, because the Bible says, my people are perishing because of lack of knowledge. And we do not want to perish simply because of that lack of knowledge. Henceforth, we ask Yahweh to give us that knowledge that we might be lacking. Today, we are going to talk about the strongholds. We hear that there are strongholds. How do we deal with them? And how can we identify them? It is written in 2 Corinthians 10, verse 4. I quote from Hebrewic Root Bible. It is written, for the weapon of our warfare are not fleshly, but of the power of Elohim to the demolition of strongholds. My brethren, what are strongholds and how do we demolish them? Strongholds are thinking thoughts that are built in our mind, driven most of the time by greed, lust, hate, envy, unforgiveness, and religiosity, driven by the religious spirit. Since strongholds are built around error, falsehood, and judging others, which may lead to being prejudiced towards certain people, or being racially discriminatory, xenophobic in some cases, and even stereotyping people. It is only through these strongholds, which make a man develop a superiority complex because of where he comes from or where he was born, and the other develop an inferiority complex. But Yahweh has created us the same. There's no man better than the other. And you cannot get life because of where you were born. You cannot get life because you are poor. Neither can you get life because you are rich. But you can only get life if you manage to pull down these strongholds. It is only through the truth that we can tear down such faulty thinking, patterns, and habit. Strongholds are built when we receive and accept error and begin to meditate on them. Strongholds form in our mind what is known as imagination. That's why you hear some other people saying he has got an active imagination. It is only to say that this person is very active in building the strongholds. Although the world, they think it is a very good thing. When you go to the theorists, they will tell you that a child should have an active imagination. When the child is building her concept or his concept on something that is fictitious, that is not true. That is a false concept, which we then believe to be true, but in actual fact, it is not. I want to give you an example. Let's say there is a guy called Johnny, and Johnny has wronged you. You then conclude that Johnny is always like that and he will never change. You even try to prove that Johnny cannot change. You become so philosophical about it. And you even question, where did you see a leopard changing its spots? This is a way of saying, regardless of what you do, Johnny will never change, like a leopard will never change its spots. I have heard women that have been hurt by men, and then they have built strongholds around their minds, their thinking. And this stinking thinking thought actually comes in, and then they conclude that all men are dogs. Now the question is, did this sister try all of them to quantify her statement that all men are dogs? If she tried, what does that make her? This is a true reflection of the one under heavily suppressed mind, a clear case of demonic spirit of unforgiveness at work. Because one person did something wrong to her, then she paints the whole population with the same brush. Right now, we know there is unrest in America where they are destroying things because some people are under heavily demonic oppression, and those strongholds, they cannot shed them off because some of them are saying black are thieves and some of them they look at white as murderers. Going back to Johnny, you find when you say Johnny cannot change, you have gone into the future of Johnny and make an error of judgment to the point that even judging the blood of Yeshua with an insinuation that it is useless and unable to cleanse Johnny because Johnny is too bad. Even in the future, which has not yet been, you have already judged it. This is serious. This is a really serious matter. My brethren, judging the blood of the Messiah and making the set-apart spirit useless in Johnny's presence, even in the future life that he has not yet been. These are those dangerous imaginations that the scripture recommend must be pulled down. Strongholds can surely be pulled down once our obedience to Yeshua is complete through the knowledge of Yahweh and his word and love for our brethren. Once this knowledge is achieved, then we are ready to reprimand every type of disobedient spirit in our lives, as written in 2 Corinthians 10, verse 5. It is written, casting down imaginations and every false thing lifting up itself against the knowledge of Elohim, and bringing into captivity every thought in the obedience of the Messiah. And we are prepared to seek vengeance on those who are disobedient whenever our obedience is fulfilled. How do our obedience get fulfilled? Our obedience get fulfilled if we measure everything that is happening in our lives according to the word of Abba Yah. If we look at every stronghold that comes into our minds and look at the scriptures, and then we follow what Yeshua did. Words like it is written, quoted from the scriptures as what Yeshua did when confronted by these strongholds, have positive effect over these demonic induced strongholds. But for you to say it is written, you need to know what is written. When the devil came to Yeshua and said, make bread out of stones, and Yeshua said, it is written that a man shall not live by bread alone. When he was told that he should kneel down and worship him, and he said, it is written, you shall worship only Abba Yah, your Elohim. Now, my brothers and sisters, how are you dealing with the strongholds that comes into your mind and telling you that this person will not change? Do you go to the scriptures and say, it is written that what Yahweh set free, so he will be free indeed? These strongholds have positive effect over those demonic induced strongholds. When we have this knowledge of the Messiah, it becomes easier to reprimand this horrible thinking pattern by transforming our minds through the renewal process of the same mind. We then stop jumping into people's future that we have no business in. The scriptures tell us in Romans 12, verse 2, it is written. Reading again from Hebrewic Roots Bible. And be not conformed to this age, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, in order to prove by you what is good and pleasing and perfect will of Elohim. When our minds are renewed, it clears all the toxic thinking pattern that clouds our mind. Then open a clear, applaudable discernment, enabling the flow of good and acceptable will of Yahweh in our lives. Some people are caught in shame-based thinking because they did not realize that it is Yahweh's will, that it is good for them to disassociate themselves from their past. You find a person will hold on to something that happened in 1918 and they still use it as proof of his living today. We know some people said it cannot happen. I cannot let go of these strongholds because it is killing me, because it happens, and the person will still even start crying as if the incident happened yesterday when it actually happened 50 years ago. The scriptures give us an example of Joseph. Joseph pulled down his strongholds when he was confronted with them, which were as a result of his brothers selling him into slavery. When the past was brought back, when meeting the same brothers who sold him, in Genesis 45, verse 4 to 8, it is written, and Joseph said to his brothers, now come near to me. And they came near. And he said, I am your brother Joseph, whom you sold into Egypt. And now do not be grieved, and let no anger be in your eyes, because you sold me here. For Elohim set me before you to save life. For the famine has been in the midst of the land for 2 years, and there are still 5 years in which no plowing and harvest will be. And Elohim sent you to put a remnant in the land for you, and to keep alive for you a deliverance. And now you did not send me here, but Elohim. And he had placed me for a father to Pharaoh, and for a master in all his house, and a ruler in all the land of Egypt. Joseph dismissed the strongholds of his early childhood. But today you hear a whole woman crying, saying, my father abused me when I was 5 years old, 50 years ago. 50 years ago. This is the stronghold that retards your spiritual growth as it puts you back to a point 50 years all the time. This comes as a spirit of unforgiveness. The enemy knowing very well that Abba Yah will not forgive you if you do not forgive. others, even your wicked father. I have met a lot of people. I had a brother, a cousin, and this cousin, the parents opted to send one of his brothers to a higher school, and they left him. And eventually he did not go through with high school. And the other brother went to the university. And this man was now, he got married. But every time when you sit down with him, you'll starting saying, my father did not send me to school. My father hates me. That's why he never sent me to school. And I asked him, I said, when was that? And then he said, whatever time it was. And I said, but how long have you been working? He said he has been working for the past 5 years. And I said, so did your father hold you back from going back to school? And if you really love school, and carry on where you left off? He could not answer me. And at that time, that stronghold of his father not sending him to school found it did not have any chance to hold strong on him. The next thing the man did, he went and enrolled himself at a college. And in less than 5 years, the man was a qualified salesman, because he went and enrolled himself as a sales consultant. And you see, because he managed to fight that stronghold by bringing in the truth in the situation. Yes, this might have happened to his life. Yes, the enemy was there, and most probably he was the one who was responsible for the father to actually behave in that manner. My brethren, take charge of your thoughts and forgive. You need your mind to be renewed and this stronghold to be pulled down daily. Then you will be able to see the glory of Abba Yah, his will, mercy, and love. Then you can respond positively to the life I had. My brethren, pull down these strongholds for fruitful relationship with Abba Yah. Are you making an effort to demolish the strongholds built around you? Remember, strongholds are in our life are as a result of incorrect thinking pattern that has molded itself into our way of thinking. These strongholds have the capabilities to affect our feelings, even change our moods, and how we respond to various situations in life, and they play a major role in our spirituality. I want to give you another example where these strongholds can easily be manipulate you and take charge of your life without you even knowing. Here in South Africa, some years ago, there was a TV soapy called Generation. The first time when they showed a man Senzo kissing a man, Jason, it was revolting. And some even complained about it. Some wrote to the Broadcast Complaints Commission to asking for this program to be canned. But as the stronghold started holding strong in the thinking pattern of the viewers and building a wall, shielding them from natural thinking pattern, it was eventually deemed acceptable by the same society that was crying blue murder, to the point that later you would hear some commenting, they are a cute couple. What a shame. These strongholds are built upon deception and error. These errors and deception can come from a wide variety of sources, including television programs. No wonder they are called programs, because they are to program our minds to what a Satan wants. We can have these strongholds built through music, through entertainment, the things that we call entertainment, through those around us, through our parents, through our spouses. That's why it is recommended not to be unequally yoked with unbelievers in marriage, or even demonic spirits. Giving power to a Satan over our lives to pull us around like a horse on harnesses and blinkers, making us only to be able to see what the devil wants us to see by manipulating our thought process at the same time. Another way we can pick strongholds is by keeping the past unpleasant experience that we faced in life, allowing the demonic spirit to quickly build one or more strongholds in our minds. Like when one grows up without a father in his life. The common stronghold that comes into this situation is the feeling of being unwanted or abandoned and always being picked at, which can bring rebellious spirit, self-pity, self-justification, defensiveness, even when it is not warranted, and a spirit of self-worth, bringing an eye infection in one's life. I this, I that, I am the one who did this. If it wasn't for me, this would have collapsed. I am the one who did this. It actually shows the extent of the stronghold that has been built around this person's mental and his thoughts. I want you as brethren to understand that we can easily remove these strongholds when we think of the donkey that carried Yeshua into Jerusalem. This donkey, people were putting their expensive jackets on the floor for it to walk on. Imagine if this donkey started saying, I am the one who is, or I am this and I am. We see that in the kingdom of Yahweh. In the assemblies of Yahweh, we find that people have got an eye infection. Everything is I. But they don't realize that that donkey, when it left after delivering Yeshua into Jerusalem, no one even asked the name of that donkey. Even the name of the owner was not even written. And how the donkey died, no one cares to know. So we need to be very careful when we take the things of Yahweh and say, I. That is a good sign that I am under a stronghold that is bringing me down, and I must, and I repeat, I must get rid of that. I must demolish those strongholds. And at times you find those, in some cases, those same people becomes rude for no apparent reason. They cannot speak nicely to anyone. They always are rude, and they claim that they are right. And at times they are unable to differentiate between right and being someone who is welcoming others. These strongholds will definitely and will need eventually to be pulled down if we need strong relationship with Abba Yah, so that they become nothing. Strongholds are weapons Satan uses against us all the time. Removing them will enable us to gain freedom from oppression without the wrongs that has been done in the past hounding us thereby compromising our health or our spirituality in the process. The past is where the devil's strength is, brethren. Don't let the devil, who does not even know your future, steal your joy using guesswork and assumptions based on the past. The devil knows your past. Yes, that is all that is to it. The past, because he was in it, and he was a catalyst to some of the things that actually happened in your past. Hence, we are advised to pull down those strongholds so that Satan has nothing strong to hold on. In the book of 2 Corinthians 10, verse 3 to 6, reading from Hebrewic Roots Bible, it is written, "For though we do live an earthly life, yet we do not serve worldly things. For the weapon of our warfare are not fleshly, but the power of Elohim to the demolition of strongholds, casting down imagination and every false thing lifting itself against the knowledge of Elohim, and bringing into captivity every thought in the obedience of the Messiah. And we are prepared to seek vengeance on those who are disobedient whenever our obedience is fulfilled." The vengeance that we can do is when we obey Yahweh, when our obedience is fulfilled. This life and the life come is in our hands. Just demolish all strongholds. You will do well. My brother, inspect yourself. Be honest with yourself. What stronghold have you or can you identify in your life based on this word? My brethren, the time is now of demolishing them and cast out those imaginations. Truly, with love, you will be able to be a child of the Most High Elohim. Hallelujah. I know at times it's very difficult, and some people will say, but I cannot do it alone. My brothers and sisters, we can help you to demolish those strongholds. We can walk together and bring the truth in your situation, and you'll find those strongholds will be gone. Just like my cousin, when the truth came, those strongholds did not have any power over him anymore. But as we live, we attract more and more strongholds. And as we attract them, we need to be always using the word of Abba Yah to bring them down and crush them and demolish them. We need our minds to be renewed in obedience to the Messiah. I thank you so much, my brothers and sisters. May Yahweh